academician and also the professional, Dr. Vivek Modi. I give you a brief introduction about him. He had been visiting our college earlier, so he is a known personality for all of our students earlier. Now it is the chance of our faculty members to get acquainted with him. Dr. Vivek Modi is a professional trainer and keynote speaker. He is a certified as a trainer by world-renowned training organization Dale Carnegie. He is a regular visiting faculty in many reputed organizations and trainer for numerous businesses, organizations across India. Dr. Vivek Modi is a qualified medical doctor, MBBS, and holds a postgraduate diploma in administration. Prior to becoming a full-time trainer in 2010, he worked for 5 years as Chief Operations Officer and Hospital Administrator for reputed corporates. Holistic wellness, leadership, emotional intelligence, public speaking, presentation skills, and parenting are the key areas of his trainings. He has been training across India in various business, educational, government, and social organizations. It is not the lack of knowledge, but inability to implement that keeps people away from achieving their desired goals. Therefore, as a trainer, Dr. Modi believes in perspective shift rather than imparting of mere knowledge. Known for his unique example-based delivery style, Dr. Modi is a much sought-after trainer, and also he has a famous surname too, Modi. Yes? So, with this brief bird's eye view of his illustrious introduction, I now request Dr. Modi to take over.
Thank you, sir, for your kind introduction. Good morning to all. My good morning was louder than all of yours. Let's try, but this was level 4, level 5. Let's take it to level 10. Good morning to one and all.
Good morning.
I know that for last couple of days, you may be feeling that all the trainers are treating us like kids. We know so much. We have been teaching people. They are underestimating our knowledge and experience. I can empathize with you. I feel the same many times. I would think that I know more than most of you. In fact, many of you have more experience, have seen more life than me. And what makes me to bring here and give this confidence that I can add value for this program. In last 8 years, and this is my 9th year, as a full-time trainer, I got an opportunity to train people from various walks of life. As a trainer, the advantage of being a trainer is we decide our curriculum, we have our timelines, and we choose our audience. And because of that, we get some flexibility to experiment with various training methodologies, which I realize conventionally our system does not provide this kind of flexibility to a teacher in a college or school. Because you have an audience which is normally fixed for a year. You have a curriculum to be finished within the stipulated time limits. And other than written things on paper what you have to deliver, there are many things which are not written in the rule books, which are not written on your work profile, but you are expected to be doing. For last 4 years, somehow I have been involved in many teachers' training. And I have realized that the job is really challenging, and it is not as easy as it is perceived by the world in general. It is a really challenging job, especially in this part of the world. Now in this last 8-9 years, I have realized few things very clearly as a trainer. First rule, never try to teach a person who is not ready to learn. We would be wasting our energy and time, especially if the time is short. Number 2, as we grow in our knowledge and our intellect, usually our receptivity reduces. We start getting into the mode where we think, I know enough. I have seen much life. And that has a usual it is followed up by an understanding that we get into judgmental mode so often. We judge people so fast because we think we know. Our listening ability usually falls, it reduces. Before the person completes sentence, we try to judge, we think I know. I realized this was the problem even with the senior doctors. So I used to train few of the doctors in the beginning of my career. When they were interacting with patients, many of them felt that they know what is the patient's issue. And I had to make them understand that most of the time they actually know what is the issue with the patient, but patient should feel that they know. If patient does not feel they know, we are not going to get the trust of the patient. And it is very likely that patient would not follow the advice very seriously. Similar things are true for teachers. There is a saying, they don't care how much you know unless they know how much you care. I repeat, they don't care how much you know unless they know how much you care. As teacher, we need to learn that art. And I am sure in few of the sessions, you just had a session on self-analysis, many of such things might have already come across. That we have to become a good listener, we have to be empathetic to students, we have to understand. Just now I was sitting with Dr. Nageshwar Rao and I was really impressed by the kind of portfolio he has. Student welfare activities. And he told that about 90% of the students he knows by name and he knows their background. It is really commendable. If some college can put that kind of effort to understand student, to listen to student, before telling them, before teaching them, do we have the patience to listen to them, understand them? If that happens, a lot of problems will be solved. So now I will be overall conducting 3 sessions for you. Today, 2 sessions, one pre-lunch, one post-lunch, and tomorrow one more session. And in these 3 sessions, I have set a brief agenda. Although the topic is already mentioned, what is the topic mentioned? Can you please repeat? How to analyze the student's mindset. Now, there is one aspect of this topic which says that we have to understand what are the needs of the students. There is one aspect of that. But I am not going to limit it up to that. The important aspect is how do we help ourselves to help students? How do we enable? What are the things required? So for that, what is the mindset required to us, for us? That is also very important. And then of course, there are few things which are intangible, which are what you call meta skills, skill of skills, which we need to have as a teacher. They are not direct skills, they are few things which helps us in acquiring every other skill. So we will discuss that also. So with that, let's start. Anybody who writes about his or her handwriting, can you please come here? Anyone? I would appreciate if some youngster comes. इतना मुश्किल है? Can I delete it? There are no PowerPoints. when I tell somebody to come on the dais, suddenly there is deep silence. Why? Fear of being judged by so many people. You got to drop those fears. Best mental state of learning is getting into child mode. If we are into children classes, who will come and write? Normally they will be competing against each other. Please welcome her and give her a big round. Can you just be there? And your name? Okay, Ranika. Now, she will be doing writing things. Because if I write there, it would look like a prescription. So I stay away. Right? So we will now start by one simple exercise. Let us try to formulate a list of objectives. What are the objectives for us as a teacher, as a trainer? And I want you to participate very freely. Don't keep any boundaries. What are the objectives of a teacher in engineering college or at this level of education? You can start, just raise your hand, stand up and participate. What is the objective? Yes, is there anyone? Yeah, please.
Impart knowledge, engineering knowledge.
To impart knowledge. Okay, so you can just write number 1. You can just title it as objectives. Number 1, knowledge sharing. Knowledge sharing. Okay. Next objective, can you add?
To imbibe moral and ethical values.
I can use that.
To imbibe moral and ethical values.
To imbibe moral and ethical values. Okay, at this level. To imbibe moral and ethical values in our students. How many of you agree with this at engineering level? It is one of our responsibilities, one of our objectives. You agree with it?
Yes.
So how do we put it? Ethical. Come on, phrase it nicely. Moral values. Okay, you can just write as a hint. Moral values. Put it up in a broad term. Ethics and values have become compulsory subject in some of the colleges. Is it here also? Not yet. Okay, soft skills. Third thing, soft skill is a very broad term which includes effective communication. Yes, sir.
To impart a skill development to the students.
So other than soft skills, you are telling
Life skills.
Skills.
life skills. Again, actually, soft skill is so broad that it includes life skills as well. So you can add hard skills. I mean skills which is their stream, a mechanical engineer or something, whatever the stream they have chosen. So you can write hard skills what they need. Counseling, yes, an important aspect. Counseling is the next point. Yes.
They should apply their knowledge in their life, whatever they apply.
Yes. So knowledge sharing, and now we can write application of knowledge, right? Number 6, application of knowledge.
Motivation.
Application of knowledge. Yes.
Motivation.
Pardon?
Counseling and motivation.
Counseling is already there, sir. Number 5. It is already there. So counseling, we will presume that motivation is part of it. Yes.
Create degrees not for engineers.
To
Create degrees not for an engineering graduates.
not for an
Engineering graduates.
Graduates.
to create engineers, not just engineering graduates. Okay, so I would presume you are talking about more of application, right? Application of knowledge. Like engineer should come out and he should apply. He should work whatever he has studied, not just he should say I have a degree. That's what we mean. Problem solver, application of the knowledge. Or should we write problem solvers? Create problem solvers. I should put it wonderfully. No, we have to write it because I can't write the whole, not just engineer graduates, but that is difficult. That is application.
Teamwork. Make them teamwork.
Okay, so to develop interpersonal skill, that is part of soft skills, right? Yes? To keep them engaged. Okay, that is also one of our things. उनका एनर्जी थोड़ा channelize करना है. So to keep them engaged, okay, we can write that to engage them in a fruitful way. Yes. So academics also, I mean, they should get good marks, right? So that is part of knowledge here.
Fulfill their expectations because everyone is expecting different. Someone wants to get fast.
To make them employable, okay. Although that's a result of many of this. Okay, these are, yeah.
Self-confidence.
Yes, so I am coming to that now. These are some of the objectives, duties of a teacher at this level. Now these are the things normally expected from everyone, but college and management would give you some duties which are not in these. What are those? Pardon?
Facilitating them.
In what?
Any manner, whatever they want. Right?
Oh, we have already written some specific things, so these are all we are facilitating. But are there anything which is not there in your job profile but which we normally do? Mentoring has come now. Attendance, yes.
Make them to cultivate interest towards something.
Pardon?
Make them to cultivate interest towards something.
I'll come to that. Now let me rephrase the question here. A teacher also has a invigilation duties. Yes. So I am now asking that I am rephrasing the question. Duties which are not towards students but towards college. What are those things a teacher has? Studying a question paper, invigilation. What else? Yeah, evaluation, attendance, good results. Yes, for management also we need good results, right? What else? Inculcating discipline. Yes. What else? Talking to parents. So yeah, mentoring. That is part of mentoring. Yes. Research activities. Yes, very important. And to more than that. So these are, I mean, you can write duties, administrative duties. You can write. Is that fine? Administrative. These are all in a broad term they put it in administrative duties. Okay. Now these are a few tangible things which falls in our objective list of objectives. These are the things we are all supposed to do. But then there are some intangible things. Okay, intangible things are towards our students, as rightly somebody suggested, to instill confidence in them. Right? It's very important. A student has come fresh from village and struggling with language. Suddenly finding everybody is talking in strange language or finding it humiliating to not able to talk in fluent English or not being dressed so well as others are dressed or not having a good mobile phone or good dressing sense, such things will be there with the student. And their first 2-3 months they are actually struggling with these basic things. They are not able to adjust to food, all those things. Some of them are maybe feeling homesick. So we need to give them confidence, is it not? Without that, rest of the things would become difficult. So you can write a different list where intangibles are there. Instill confidence in them. Okay. Anything else would you like to add to this list? These are intangible things. They are not your direct objectives, but these are the objectives which help in achieving other objectives. What are the other things we can add to this? Giving them confidence is one. Anything else? Giving them guidance means taking away their confusion. Right? Maybe somebody is studying in second year of mechanical engineering but finding or confused whether it's a right stream for me or not. Should I have taken something else or not? Okay. So, how do we put down? How do we write it? Guiding them. Okay. Number one, instilling confidence. Number two, providing guidance. Now, this guidance could be on various aspects. providing them in a way, counseling part has already come in that. One counseling is about subject matters, okay, where the person is finding it difficult to deal with subject. But second counseling is, he may come and say, or she may come and say, ma'am, at my home things are not good. My father is not supporting. Something like that they can say. And they are looking at somebody who can guide them at that stage of life. Or maybe the boy is feeling so low, or his self-esteem is so low that he doesn't talk to anyone, doesn't mix with anyone. Now once, if that is the state of mind, then forget about other aspects. So if we are not touching upon those aspects, other things will not happen. And in a crowd of 50, 60, we may completely miss it. Right? We will not even recognize what is the issue. Maybe somebody is going with a health issue. Are we able to guide? Are we able to support them indirectly? Can we become a person who becomes a dependable guide for that student? Mentor, in a way. Mentor is a perfect word for all that. So guidance, confidence, right? Instilling confidence. Anything else can you add here? Discipline. So teaching them discipline, sometimes by being tough. Okay? Not always nudging, not always being soft, but sometimes we need to be hard and teaching them discipline. The guy wants to do it, but the guy doesn't have the discipline to do it. So teaching them discipline. Anything else?
People into good company. Friends.
Okay, so looking at their peer group, okay, looking at their habits and trying to guide them in the right way. I think that will also fit into the first one. Anything else can be added to this?
Improve the environment. Proper environment to them.
Providing them proper environment, yes. Placing them into right environment. Try to see that environment is not being spoiled. Few spoiled fishes can spoil the whole thing. So I have to understand that is the environment in the class correct? Am I able to provide right environment? So you can write giving them a healthy environment. Healthy environment where they can grow, experiment, try. Okay, one more aspect can be added, like taking away, dealing with their fears. Fear, anxiety, nervousness. It's very important to understand what is the fear of a student, because it has an overbearing effect on everything else. Working on their self-esteem. Working on their self-esteem. Does the student have that sense of significance? I have been talking about significance earlier also, some of you might have heard it. The idea of significance, letting the student know that he is good or she is good in that particular area. That's his idea or her idea of significance, where she is above the remaining 90%. What is that area, one area? So helping him to find his significance. Anything else would you like to add here? Is there a possibility to add something more? Okay, we'll stop here. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. And you have really very good. Okay. Now, before I proceed, let's do a test of what is your physical age. Not in terms of years you have lived, how fit you are. So let's do a simple exercise. 10 seconds. For 10 seconds, we all will be clapping, not looking at anybody else, but counting our own claps. Okay? And the game is how many claps you can get. Highest number of claps. What is the number you get? Please count it carefully. Don't look at the clock. I will tell you start and stop. Your focus should be on your month in how many claps I am making. And a clap is one which makes sound. Like this, it is not a clap. And all human beings will participate in it. Okay? Ready? Start. raise your hands. Above more than 50 claps. Only 3, 4. That's it. Yeah, बहुत low energy है. Above 45 and below 50 or 50. Okay. Good. Above 40, between 40 and 45. Below 40. Good morning to all of you. उठो भाई, 12 बज गई है. 40, 40. Low. We need minimum above 40. Okay. If some once again, we'll do it later. We'll do it again. Yes. लंच के बाद ज़्यादा होगा, चलो देखते हैं. लंच के बाद normally क्या हो जाएगा? Some people are still holding up, catching up their breath. थका दिया 10 बार. So, if you are crossing 50, it is good. If you are crossing 40, it is decent. It's not bad. Below 40, need to work upon it. If you are crossing 60, it is very good. If you are crossing 70, it is excellent. So, what is that? In 10 seconds, right? In 10 seconds. I do it up to 72. Sometimes 65, between 65 to 72, I do it. And many people, yesterday I was with a group of very senior scientists. You know, one guy told, I don't know, I'm sure he would be lying, he told 103. I told not possible, sir, we have to do something. But then majority of them were above 50. So, teachers should not be behind scientists, right? You do it once again, later on, not right now. So, now, let's move on to the next step here. When we want to do so many things, I mean, सोचिए इतनी सारी चीजें हमको करनी है. Somebody has to do so many things. What kind of competence it requires in us? What kind of ability we need to develop in ourselves if we need to achieve these many goals? It's a humongous task. I mean, to raise one kid and to mold him rightly itself is a big challenge, right? And here we are dealing with 50, 60 children. I mean, we can tell them children since we are in a teaching role. If you have to mold them in so many aspects, is it not a difficult task? It's humongous task for any person on this earth. Really, really difficult. But advantage with teachers is what? That these kids are there with you for almost a year. These students are there. So time you get to observe them is really, really good, which is a disadvantage for a trainer. A trainer doesn't know that closely a person what a teacher conventionally gets to know. That's the advantage of a teacher, that he or she can get the time to observe the student for a long duration. It's a big, big advantage. But then can we really capitalize, can we really use this time frame in a right way? And for that, we need to develop certain qualities in us. So before we talk about molding students, we have to work upon the factors which we need to develop in ourselves. Is it not? So again, one question, and I want this honest, contemplation of this question. How many of us here are teacher by choice? I mean, even if you don't want to raise your hand, it's fine. But I see a good number still. How many of us are teacher as a second choice? I would really appreciate your honesty. Okay? Because I know the numbers are higher than what it is looking right now. I was there in interview for civil service aspirants, like who have cleared their names and who were going through this training for interview. And about 60% of them were teachers. 60% of them were working as teachers, have already gone through the mains exam of civil services, and teaching was like a parking lot for them. Time being, just become a teacher. Now with that kind of arrangement, where I become teacher, for past like 2 years or 3 years, so that I can prepare for my IAS or my groups exam, whatever I want to do. With that kind of arrangement, can I expect a person to deliver on so many points? Is it possible? It's humanly impossible for a person to deliver on so many points. It is going into the field without accepting the rules of the game. So the question here, before even understanding, going through so many factors about how can we influence our students in a positive way, we fairly need to ask this question very, very clearly. We need to understand and ask this question correctly to us. Am I in the game? What's the game? Teaching, teaching. Teaching, teaching is the game. But am I in the game wholeheartedly? Or I am a part-time stockbroker, part-time, I'm writing my IAS groups exam, that is why I have come here just to make some quick money. If that is the case, whatever we are going to discuss, you will not be able to implement it. It's very clear. It is expecting too much from a human being who is not in the game. It's like I am in the game, but I have kept some rules. I want to play football, but I have kept the conditions. What are the conditions? I am a good player, I am a capable player. But my condition is, nobody should push me, nobody should pull me, I should not get sweating when I am playing in the ground, my clothes should not get dirty, I should not get injured. Then I will play football. You may be a good player, but can you perform? Can you perform? The first question, very clearly we need to understand, wholeheartedly ask this question, am I in the game wholeheartedly? If I am not in the game, all the things what will be discussed during this, I would not be able to perform. You may have intentions. You may be really willing to help the kids. But that commitment would not be there. Because simply the time would not permit you to go through that kind of exercises what we are going to do. So first and foremost question is, am I in the game? Now why it is so important for us in personal life? Because many of you may be thinking, actually if I have to grow in my career, in my life, then what? I have to grow. Okay, एक job है, I am doing my job, and by doing my job I am looking for my personal growth. What is wrong in that? You may be thinking that, right? Many of us get into any job sometimes like that, time being 3 years, 4 years, let's make some pocket money and do this. I am suggesting teaching is not such a profession where we should get with that mindset. We are doing injustice not only to us. To us we are doing anyway injustice, but we are doing injustice to so many other people. And that's one of the core reasons of low teaching standards in our country I have felt. That teachers here are not teachers by their choice. And once I do something not by my choice, I can't expect excellence out of that. It's not possible. We can attend all sort of classes, soft skill, this, that, but still it will not happen because I am not accepting the rules of the game. So first and foremost, asking that. Now I am coming to justify this. Why I am saying that it's so important for being in the game. For our personal, forget about the students right now. For our personal quality of life. Why it is so important? I asked this question last time also. I am asking once again because I am sure some of you were not there. What is the difference between development and growth? Can anyone tell me? What is the difference between development and growth? Growth is natural. Development is not natural. Effort. Okay, so you are telling growth happens automatic. Development may not happen automatically.
Development is positive aspect. Growth may or may not be positive.
Okay. Growth is internal. Internal. Development is external. Anyone else?
Development is a product of byproduct.
Byproduct. और कोई बोलना चाहिए? What is the fundamental? It's an essential factor to understand. To give knowledge is what? To gain knowledge is what? Development and growth. Yeah.
Daily growth is development.
Daily growth is development. Okay, let me cut to the chase. Growth is quantitative, development is qualitative. Growth is quantitative, development is qualitative. Now what happens? Anything quantitative, it is easy to measure, is it not? We can talk in numbers so easily. What's your growth? I can say, when I joined, my salary was 30,000, now it is 40,000. I can tell some numbers. What's your growth? I have 20 years of experience, a number. Or I have grown in my position. You can say something very clearly when it comes to growth. Measurement is easy. It's more visible, it's more marketable. It is easily understood by masses. Measurable. Because it is easily measurable, our focus naturally goes upon. Because we can see it. Whereas quality, although it is being measured nowadays, but it is inherently difficult to measure. How good a student is, how will you measure? Now we are trying to measure. Somehow he gets 70%, 80%, 90%, but that's not the true test of the quality of a student. There are many other factors, intangibles, which we cannot measure, which we cannot see. Now here I am not talking, referring when we are talking about growth and development for students, I am referring here to us. There is a natural bias in our mind, that our mind is more focused towards growth and less focused towards development. Because the moment, let's say, the moment you say, I got a job in Methodist college, what do you think 90% of the people will ask you next question? What is the salary? Is it not? A number. And after 5 years, what is your growth? You will again tell your salary, most likely. Is it not? We naturally, nobody will ask what is the quality of job. How good time you will spend. Would you enjoy the life? Now here we need to understand, we need to come out of this trap of being focused too much on the quantity while giving up on the quality. Because that's the precise reason in our country we are suffering with huge number of students coming out as graduates, but companies are complaining they are not employable. After 15, 16, 17, 18 years of education, the student does not know how to give answers in an interview. He has to learn from somebody else. Please tell me, how should I highlight my abilities? 17 years, what did you do? I was focusing only on numbers, on percentage, on marks. I have not focused on quality of growth. I have grown simply without gaining qualitative gain. Development has not happened. And same thing happens in personal life of us, each one of us. We keep on growing quantitatively just by virtue of time sometimes. Because my experience is growing, I am learning something, I am becoming senior, I am getting more salary, I am getting promotion. All that is happening, good. But can I say I am physically more healthy, I am mentally more happy, I am emotionally more balanced? I have grown in my empathy, I have grown in my knowledge. I know many teachers who are using their notes what they made 10 years back. And same notes they are repeating every day. And they say these are the gold standards. They are not even ready to come out of their comfort zone to modify them. I remember in my MBBS there was a professor who told, if you write out of my notes, I will not give marks. You have seen this, right? I am sure many of you might have seen that. Where is the development in that? Maybe they are gaining in the experience. I often tell them it's not 20 years experience, it's 2 years experience repeated 10 times. There is no growth in that. And often we see the growth happens first 2 years like this, and after that it's curve like this, and then because of the attitude it falls. And this is true for majority of the people. They become casual towards it. They think I know everything. That is why many of the people they will be sitting like that. Let's finish it because I know everything. That attitude creeps into because we are focused towards only number, not realizing that life is not a number. It is quality of life which we have to improve. Just by growing my numbers, I will not be able to tell in my 60s or 70s that I lived a great life. I will not be able to say. There are many people we have seen today who have in terms of numbers great amount of wealth, name, fame, followers, everything is there. Recently we have seen few people committing suicide. seemingly looking very, very happy from outside, seemingly looking very, very, grown up people. Why did they commit suicide? What was the problem? They had money, they can't even count. They were famous. They had good physical health. But mentally, they were suffering. There was no sense of fulfillment. The quality of life was lacking. So I want all of us to understand this basic thing today, to get rid of this mentality of getting trapped into only growing. We have to grow, no doubt, but not at the cost of our development. And for that, we have to get into the mindset of all or none when it comes to career. Wholeheartedness. I bring my presence in whatever I do. If I am sitting here for a lecture, for next 1.5 hours, I am here. I am not roaming outside mentally. If I can bring that mental attitude gradually, I improve the quality of my life. Forget about students are telling. I improve quality of my life. What is the proof here? I have often quoted one book called Flow, F-L-O-W, Flow. This book is written by a Hungarian psychologist. His name is Mihai Csikszentmihalyi. Don't ask me spelling. Hungarian psychologist. Okay. After doing about 25 years of research, solid scientific research on happiness, human happiness, he has come up with that book and some fascinating facts in it. He says, what gives us happiness? He gives here few facts, and please listen to it carefully. First, he says 10% of our happiness comes with our material wealth. And he says it's very important. Money and material wealth is very important when it is coming from 0 to, let's say, 25, 30. It's very important. Your first 30,000, your first 50,000 will actually increase your happiness. No doubt. But after that, 50,000 to 1 lakh, it will, I'm just giving you a random number here. It will not be so much. 1 lakh to 2 lakh would hardly make you happy, and 2 lakh to 5 lakh would probably make you more tense. Probably. I am not against wealth creation, not at all. But with that mindset. So he said that only 10% of happiness comes with what money can buy. Why it is 10%? Because he says this kind of happiness is so transient in nature. It will not last long. So it will come a good meal, a good outing, a new car, a new mobile phone. How long you are fascinated with it? 1 week, 10 days. A good meal is by the time you have evening meal, you have forgotten morning meal. A good outing. Few days you cherish. A good promotion. How long do you cherish? 15 days, 20 days, 1 month. And after that, life is same. You realize there are new challenges. So he says that this kind of thing gives us only 10% of happiness. But then he says the second kind of happiness, which is little more lasting. He says it is the experience of flow. What is flow? Experience of your involvement in the work. How involved you are in any work, he says that is a very, very happy experience. Now work could be anything. Work could be making a tea, work could be teaching the kid, work could be watching a movie, work could be anything. It doesn't matter what is the work. But if I can get involved into the work 100%, that I become oblivious of everything else, I forget everything else. He says that is state of happiness. And how is he saying? How did he understood? Is it happy or not? He took hormonal assays of the people. He is not suggesting that involvement will give you happiness because he asked few people and they told it was a happy experience. No. He is doing it in a very scientific way. So he did their blood test, he found their hormonal assays, and he found the hormones which are secreted during happiness are highest at the stage of flow, when you are completely involved, one with the work, when you have forgotten yourself, forgotten everything else. That kind of involvement is yours. Now, can involvement come half-heartedly? Is it possible for me to get involved in anything half-heartedly? It is not possible. I can get into involve something only when I am 100% in the game. I can forget myself in a teaching experience when I am 100% in the game, not looking at the clock, not thinking about something else, not worrying about my other aspects,
only then it is possible for me to bring my 100% presence in anything. Yes, it will help our students, no doubt. But before them, it will help us. It will help us to raise our own self-esteem. It will help us to create that happy experience of flow. And it will help us to actually not only grow but also develop. That is why it's very, very important for us to be in the game 100%. So I would suggest if anybody is doing this job, teaching job, as a second choice, or maybe not here by choice but because of the circumstances, I would request you to consider it. Get into this game full-heartedly for 2 years at least. 2 years, tell yourself, 2 years I will postpone my other plans and I will get into this wholeheartedly, completely I will experience the game of teaching. And it will take your life to next level. Because teaching is such profession which doesn't only give you everything, but it helps you give others everything. I personally consider there is only one profession which is better than medical profession of that of a doctor. It is teaching profession. That is why I am in teaching profession. And I am here by choice. And I am very proud to say that I am a teacher, a trainer. Anybody tells me, who are you? I tell I am a trainer. I don't tell I am a doctor. And I really mean it. Because I know it has qualitatively changed my life. And it has given me a lot of self-respect. And it has helped so many people. I have testimonies by reading which I feel like crying sometimes. I feel so, it's heartfelt testimonies. And this is a chance a teacher gets every day. Every day. Imagine the plight of a kid who is just suffering from homesickness, come here in a strange place called Hyderabad from some small village, and he finds one teacher as ray of hope. This teacher will help me. This teacher will give me support. She is like my akka, or he is like my elder brother. And he comes and shares. I remember when I was in my first year MBBS, my challenge was not anatomy, physiology, biochemistry. I was a good student. My challenge was English. Everything was in Hindi medium for me, coming from a small town. Never ever spoken to anyone in English. I remember I was scared to talk with the air hostess in the airplane when I first time sat in the airplane because I thought they will all talk in English and how will I reply? And when I went to medical college, my challenge was English. सब लोग English में बात कर रहे हैं. I am the only guy who is not coming from English medium. And how will I deal? And then there was a teacher called Dr. Lavanya, who could identify, who could understood. And I remember in that anatomy dissection room, when we do that cadaveric dissection, she would stand with me and she would help me, dealing with all the odd situations. She understood that I was struggling with, adopting to food from chapatis to rice. She would share 2 of her chapatis with me every time in the lunch. I can't forget her ever in my life. What she gave me at that moment. This is the chance a teacher gets. Out of 60, 70, 80 students, there are few students who are looking up to us for that kind of support. And we don't have to give money. We have to just give some kind words. We have to find them in discovering themselves. This is the opportunity a teacher gets. And wasting this, I feel, would be a criminal act. I cannot waste. I cannot be in a position of such an authority, such a responsibility and take it as a second thing in my life. It is not done.